we'll wait. Thank you out there in the community too, if you're listening. I'm sure you find this entertaining. Here we go. So thank you so much for listening to Blue Sky Horse Radio. Today is the 17th of November. We're heading towards winter. And Eric from Starcross Productions is here with us in the studio. Thank you so much for coming in on this blustery day.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer. Good to be back.
How have you been doing since the beginning of COVID and throughout COVID and all this now?
It has been really crazy. I ended up losing one job, but being able to hang on to another, which has been a blessing. I've been stuck inside, which is kind of how a lot of the editing kind of ended up happening at first. But then after a little while, we said this is crazy. We got to at least be able to do some stuff, like with social distancing, with the rules in place, with masks, clean hands, that sort of. Yeah. Like I have maybe a 20-person bubble window that I see from a week-to-week basis, not counting the people I run into in the store. So it's a fairly small bubble.
Yeah, you're taking the precautions.
Yeah, trying to be safe.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's happening right now. It seems like maybe we're going into more restrictions again. I'm not sure if you follow like the news every day.
A little bit, but I don't try not to breed too much into it. Like I know everyone has to be safe in that, but the media is always going to try to make it sound as big as it possibly can.
Yes, I know. And like it's so important that we keep our social connections and everything too, because you know, we have to keep living and we have to keep faith and we have to keep hope of a good future and everything. So right now we live in a very different world than what we lived in even earlier this year when you were supposed to be coming in initially, and we were talking about you coming in because you were sharing about your series, and then it was like, no, we can't have any people in the studio, and then we went into the lockdown, and so much has changed since then. So how do you find what you do? Has that changed? Like even your vision?
We still try to keep our values about the same, trying to do shows that have hope and family value, good overcoming evil with good, but we're still keeping to the rules. We're wearing masks, we're keeping our hands clean, we're keeping a limited number of people on set at any one point in time.
Yeah, that's good.
We were supposed to be doing another project this November, but the restriction level was being raised up, and one of our actors was getting nervous in that, so we decided to put everything on hold till the spring. Hopefully things will be a little more quiet.
Yeah. So that gives you time to edit and figure out other things. All right, well, why don't you tell us a bit about how you got started even years ago, because some people in the community may have not heard of Starcross.
It's a faith-based independent film company headed by me and some friends. We have people in to do their parts and stuff. We cast people. We try to shoot things in local areas and wherever we can shoot a scene, and we cut it together and make it like a Christian soap opera drama is sort of what some people call it as.
Okay. That's an interesting niche to be in, I guess. There's a lot of soap operas or dramas out there.
The first movie did pretty well. We ended up giving out about 200 copies, and we had so much fun making it. We wanted to, some of the people said, are we going to do more? So we decided to translate the show into a series format, which is like a 30 to 45 minute episode format.
Oh, wow.
Format instead of a drama, and tell mini dramas as they go.
That's
that goes deeper into the characters, or sort of a social situation or stigma, and how those characters overcome those stigmas or those problems.
That's interesting. So you actually have a lot of ideas around this. You've thought quite a bit about it.
Yeah. Some of the ideas we were able to flush out really well, and others maybe we didn't get to do as much because one person wasn't able to be there to help fulfill that, or things like that. And there was a lot of changing transition during the making of the series, but we tried to have faith and persevere that we were doing the right thing and try to come up with the best story that we
Good. I know, like whenever you set out to do something usually happens. There's always some kind of hurdle or challenge that you gotta face. So maybe we'll share some of the pictures we had up on the screen here. So this is from your first season that you did, Faith Check.
Faith Check the series, that's from season 1. Each photo is from a different episode or highlight situation that explores the characters and highlights the drama. drama. We based the poster off of the movie poster "Do You Believe" from 2015, which had the characters like in a cross with all the different situations and
Okay.
stuff. So something similar to that.
So let's go to the second picture. Maybe we can talk about the people who are in the picture. It looks
Yeah, so that, yeah, me in the middle there, and there's Hayden on the far right, who plays Lucifer, who does a fantastic job. And then there's Emily Schooley. She played Chloe in the first movie, and she came in for a couple of episodes, but wasn't able to stay for the full run, so we ended up having to recast her part and reshoot about a third of her stuff. And to my right, we have Shivam, who plays Jesus, and he also has another role where he plays a villain. I don't want to give too much away, but he also plays a bad guy as well. And
Fair
then
enough.
we have Amanda Noel on the far left, who came in to play just a secretary, small part, but she ended up getting key supporting cast because of another one of the actors who couldn't give us all the time that we initially needed. She ended up filling in some of the blanks and ended up creating her own half of that same character.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, let's check out some of your. Oh, here's another photo.
Yeah, that's a scene of Mark and Chloe. That's my character, Mark, who comes in to ask for forgiveness from his wife for not telling her a secret in the pilot.
Ooh. Looks like some action there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's Michael, and then there's Troy. We borrowed the paintball guns from my friend Anthony, who's been a very big support, and he helped me with some story consulting on the pilot. Thanks, Anthony. And we tried to create some action and running shots in a promotional trailer to promote that we wanted to do some action pieces as well.
I guess the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
There you are at a cemetery.
Oh yeah, we shot a lot of things around life and death and that, so we shot some funeral stuff and key character moments and some cemetery stuff. That cemetery is about 5 minutes from my house.
Okay.
Some public property in that.
Interesting. So I was going to say, like, when you go to shoot your stuff, I guess you have to kind of make relationships with, if you go to a business, or like, do you kind of shoot where you know people, or how do you manage that?
We try to find a location that looks good for the scene, and if we can do it for free, that's usually a pretty good indication that we can use it, or if it's a piece of public property near a road or what.
So like when you go to a cemetery, you didn't have to ask anybody, you just went there and like
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
No, we had two cemeteries, the one near my house and then the one that belongs to the church I go to.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
To.
That looks like another action shot.
Oh yeah, that's a really good scene from episode 3 where Troy's character, Paris, tries to stand up for himself, and his boss is not taking it very likely. His boss is played by Mike DeSalle as Leonard. You'll probably see him. He was the main villain of the third film of the first movie, and he has a couple of really good cameos. And he provided us with the audio recording equipment, and he's been a huge support.
Nice.
Huge support.
So you have some passionate people around you.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a picture of a couple.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's Mike as Ben again. He was in the first movie, but played by somebody else, and that's Megan as Ashley. They were the main couple of the first movie, and they're a supporting pair in the miniseries, being friends with Mark and Chloe, giving faith-based support and emotional support when needed, and they're going through their own little drama in that at any one time sometimes.
I bet.
Funny tidbit, he's actually wearing my T-shirt.
Oh, really?
Because his had a label on it that we couldn't use at the
Oh.
time. We try to shoot in regular non-specific clothing and stuff, just so we
Yeah.
don't have any product placement or any bad situation that might upset somebody. Where we could try to tie.
Yeah. So like, do you make a specific point of, because I mean, there's obviously a lot of product placement in any filmmaking or videography. Like when you're watching movies now, like even I remember like growing up and not really being aware as much of like, oh, that is an obvious product placement situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now when you're watching stuff, you're like, oh, nice ad for whoever, like, do you know what I mean? Do you make an obvious point out of not doing that, or would you like explore a relationship with a sponsor, I suppose?
Oh, I would, like if they were willing to help contribute to the finance of the film.
Yeah.
Film, of course, but we're a little more low key than that. We just don't want people to think that we're like trying to steal something that's theirs without having to pay them or without acknowledging them or giving credit and that.
Fair
not to
enough.
step on anyone's toes.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So there's another picture.
Oh, yeah, there's Megan again as Ashley, and that's Michelle Ecker, who plays her mother Catherine from the first film. She came in for a couple of cameos. She's the most lovely, one of those sweetest supporting ladies that I've ever met.
Nice.
She enjoyed the writing and the emotional part she was bringing to the thing. We wanted to get a lot of mother-daughter stuff put together, and due to conflict in time, that we could only do a couple of small parts to it. If you watch episodes 1 through 4 of the miniseries, that actually takes place over like a 10-year period chronologically in time, but we were able to do some things, but we weren't able to do everything.
Yeah,
again,
that makes
because of
sense.
people's timing and who was available when.
Yeah, you had to like adapt to the situation, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. Huh. Ooh.
Oh, there's that's Chance Miller, who has a really good guest part in episode 3 of season 1, and there's Troy. That was us. I think we were just running around at the mall just talking about ideas and figuring things out. Chance is such a really good actor. He's like a chameleon to sleep into whatever kind of role he's doing, and he's also he'll what do you call those people? Like he'll draw a line or can do an imitation from like Lord of the Rings or any kind of or the fantasy shows or sci-fi things and make it his own, and it's just so impressive how he bounces off these different parts.
Wow,
And
like a character actor? Yeah, what do you call it when people impersonate? Oh, here we have.
Oh, yeah, that's Vicky. Vicky, she's one of the most lovely supporting ladies that I've ever met. In the first movie, she plays the devil's mistress, but then we liked her so much we expanded her part, and then she and Amanda actually end up playing the same character. Vicky in the season 1 could only give us like a couple of days because she was doing some protesting work of her own accord. You should really get together with her and talk about
Oh,
that.
interesting.
About that, and she gave us a couple of days of shooting, and then she has a bigger part in season 2.
Oh,
Season
nice.
2, and we're very good friends. We've become very close, and her support in the writing and that, and I gave her some latitude to help come up with some of the ideas of the origin of her character.
That is so cool. I like that. Like, so you always wonder about when people make films or any kind of like video like that, like, because you hear some actors that have a lot of ideas and they get shot down because the producer's like, no, or the director's like, no, it's got to be like this. Whereas I'm sure, like, for an actor, person being an actor, it's nice when your ideas are heard because it maybe just means that I really like, I understand this role, or this is what it means to me, or this is what I got out of it.
Yeah, we try to take some people's ideas and put them in so that they're making contributions, and that not any one person can make.
Yeah,
make
right.
anything,
When people
yeah.
feel like they're heard, then I mean it makes for a good relationship. Looks like out on the lake here or near the lake.
Well, oh yeah, that was at my my aunt and uncle, Uncle Steve and Aunt Karen's cottage. They were big supporters of the show and let us come to their cottage for one day of shooting. We tried to shoot out by the lake, and inside the cottage were some pickups. There's Troy, he was running the camera that day, and that girl, that's Lindsay, Greaseback's now Hussey. She's married now, and she picked up the role of Chloe for episode 2 and 4 of season 1 and season 2. And I'd done a couple of fantasy shows with her in the past, but we didn't really get to know each other until I ended up hiring her for Faith Check, and she's like one of the loveliest, supporting, sweetest ladies I've ever met. She's creative and strong, and whatever she says, you feel like your heart bleeds for her as a character, and she's just such a wonderful person to watch the way she works.
Cool. That's incredible. Oh. Somebody's reading.
Oh yeah, that's Eric. He was in the first movie as the police captain. In I guess I'm gonna tell you about his role in the episode the series. He ends up doing the voice for God. Yeah, so his stuff was the fun, easy thing. He just had a mic in like an hour of recording his stuff was done. So he thought he did good for the series and that. That he's very authoritative with his voice and also can give a piece of tenderness and compassion.
So how do you? So I mentioned a little earlier in this program that I was introduced to you, or Frank Reed, who I know, he's a veteran, and he was, regarding the events and mental health, I got to know Frank Reed, and some years later, because Frank had come on the show too to speak about his experience as a armed soldier at the time for Canadian Armed Forces. Peacekeeper in Cyprus and in Germany. So Frank had said, "Oh, I know somebody. Can I introduce you to Eric?" And I was like, "Sure, of course." And so, because Frank had also been involved, and Regen as well are involved in your productions,
Yeah.
which I wasn't aware at the time that they were sort of actors as well. So.
Yeah. Hey Frank. Hey Rich. They were so wonderful and supportive, and I'm very happy that he ended up introducing us. He was actually just an extra or small player as a cop in the first film, but we liked him so much we gave him a line at the extra thing, and we actually ended up expanding his role in the miniseries. Due to his time and his wife, them living out in Vancouver, we weren't able to do everything I really wanted, but we were able to shoot enough with him for season 1, and then he came in for one day in season 2 when they were just passing in between here in Waterloo, which was so generous of him.
Mm-hmm, yeah, they're great people.
So I was going to say, how do you find people? Like how you got started and how it's been going throughout the years. Like how do people get to know about you? If somebody's listening right now and they're like, "Oh, I'd like to get involved. I like acting, and I'm looking for hope or faith."
Well, if you want to join our group, that would be great. We have a Facebook Faith Check page. You can message me on there or message me in my private profile or reach out to me on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel called Faith Check the Series. We're always looking for new people to audition. We'll post like an audition on the Facebook forum and that, and some people will answer it or reply to our emails, and then we come in, usually have coffee with, if they're willing to work, what their work schedule is like. We kind of have to work around people's work schedules, so that's usually like a Saturday or a Sunday shoot.
Yeah.
Sunday shoot for us.
Yeah. I know time management is, and like I find right now in the time that we live in, obviously, like it seems like everything has changed. Like people have dealt with this COVID time in different ways. Like some people are very afraid to go out and they basically like do all of their online shopping. They just trying to kind of maintain some kind of normalcy, whatever that is nowadays. So like, where do you find yourself in this? Like how are you dealing with all of the restrictions? And
I keep my hands clean as much as I can, and I wear a mask when I'm around other people for safety for them and for myself. And my sister sometimes says I'm not taking it seriously and stuff, but I do where I can. But I'm not gonna like let it like. For the first 6 months, I didn't go out or do anything.
Yeah.
You gotta have like some dances and you
Right.
can't stop living.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of it. That's it. I hear you. I know, like, I think about things because I used to really try to, like, I've organized a few, like, with help with other people, of course. Like, we've done some events. So, like, I'm always, like, in this event frame of mind. And then after COVID, it was like, okay, well, there's no more events, like, especially not like that. So, like, how do you manage, how do you figure out a different way of doing it? So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe some online events, because you still have to reach people. Maybe you can't have as many people come to your actual event, but you can do something at a space and just make sure you film it. So, and then people can be in their home, maybe with a group of their friends in their home or with their family, and like that, because like mental health is a huge, like it's so important, and with what's happening, people are like depressed. The suicide rates are up, and like people are feeling so alienated and afraid that it's even more important now that we figure out a way how to reach people and keep, no matter which faith a person has, like we just have to come together and be as one. And I mean, we live in such a diverse region too. Like I guess that's what I'm thinking about. How do you deal with COVID? Because everybody seems to deal with it differently.
Yeah.
And for elderly too, or people who are like vulnerable, that are even more isolated because of their, you know, being so susceptible.
Yeah.
So, but we can speak about your pictures, so we'll go on to the next one here. A couple of kids.
Oh, there, yeah, that's Jim. He's the composer for the series, and those are his kids, Ben and Sarah. They had a small little part in the first movie, and I put them in the pilot as well. And I shot at their house for like one day, and they're just the sweetest kids ever. We try to use kids where we can.
And maybe future actors, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, cute. It's a little teddy bear.
Oh yeah, there's Gloria. She's another little fan of ours. That's Anthony and Melissa's daughter. They helped with some of the writing of the pilot, and story consulting back and forth.
So where can people find your video or your material if they were interested?
I have a YouTube channel called Faith Check the Series, where all the trailers and some of the behind-the-scenes tidbits are on. If you want to message me, I can send you a DVD. DVDs are, they're about $20 a piece. Or if you want to buy like the first movie and the first season together, that's like $25. And we're about to have season 2 released. If you want to order all 3 things, the movie season 1 and 2, that'll be about $40, $45 or something. Or if you can't afford it, or like give me a donation later, you can get a copy then.
Okay.
I'm going to probably maybe release the pilot and maybe the premiere for season 2 on YouTube later this coming year, just to give everyone a taste of what it is. But I'd still prefer to be able to like sell it where I can, because the money that comes in will help ease the pricing of future projects for me. Like I put a little aside every week to help fund my shows and my passion, and every little bit that comes in helps.
Yeah.
I hear you. It's difficult when you're a volunteer, or like you're an entrepreneur, really, you're an entrepreneur. So you're funding your own project.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess eventually, you may find like-minded that will support you in your process.
Yeah, we're hoping that, or like if somebody would like us to put their little product in the background somewhere, that would give us like a few $1,000s to help fund another series or whatever, that would really help. Or I'm willing to partner with anyone as long as they have the same intentions as me, and they don't want to like dominate the story or anything like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, let's check out some more pictures here.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, so there's Anthony and Melissa. We were having coffee that day at Tim Hortons. We were celebrating Gloria's birthday. I showed them.
I guess they could be one of your sponsors almost. I wonder if that.
They did give some contribution in the past.
Oh, they did. So it's fair that you're showing the logo there. There you go. Sorry, go on about your photo.
Yeah. Oh, and then the next. Oh yeah, that was the day we were shooting the horses scene for episode 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know what a fan you.
That's for sure. It looks like a summer picture because it looks like she had her.
That was June or July, I think, of 2018. We shot the pilot in 2017, and we didn't do too much because we'd worked so hard on the first movie, but then we did the rest of the series in 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Troy with the horses.
That was a beautiful horse. I'm just going to put that card up. I saw the horse. So whose horse is that, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, that's, her name is Stephanie Cliff. She's the lady who owns the horses that we shot with. I had done a fantasy film with her a couple of years earlier, and she has this stable of horses. She's a rancher, and she let us use her horses for one day, and a couple of the scenes were shot behind her barn, so we were able to get one day with them up there. They live up near, I believe. She should come on the show too and talk about her horse enthusiasm.
I would love that. Horse-related people are welcome on this show. Like, since I started this program, like, I realized really quickly that, like, I cannot only sit here and talk about horses if I'm trying to educate people on the topic of horse slaughter, which is really what I was trying to do, and also wild horses, the topics of that. So you kind of realize that, you have to broaden your community. All right, let's talk about this next photo here.
Next one. Oh yeah, that was a photo of me and Josh at the beginning of Yeah, 19, I guess it was. So Josh and I have a funny story. I guess I'll share that story now for the first time publicly. He was actually there the night that Faith Chuck the movie premiered at the Princess Cinema. He was running the projector and that and putting it on. And he is another local talent who films videos and that himself. And he got the job, and I met him a little later at the Christmas banquet that year, and he introduced himself to me, and then we ended up talking, and then Troy and I went to the Kitchener Fan Expo at the beginning of 2019 just for comic books and some stuff. And he comes up and shakes his hands to me, and it had been a couple of months. I didn't really remember him at first, but I went with him into the room in that with his wife and his friends. They had a horror film that they were screening there, and we ended up talking about our interest in films and supporting each other, and we ended up forming a partnership. And so he came in and did a small role in season 2 and did a lot of the camera work for 2/3 of the day of thirds of the shooting.
Okay.
And he's just so fun and energetic and very giving and caring. His wife Heather, she's one of the loveliest ladies I've ever met. We hang out once in a while with social distancing, of course, during these times of COVID and that. And he was a big support in getting season 2 shot, and he's going to help direct a future project that we have in the works right now, and it's always good to bounce ideas off him. If you want to check out any of his work, his YouTube channel title is Sharp Edge Cinematics with an X on it. He has a series that he's been producing since high school called Really Bad Television, and I've done a few episodes of that this year. That's how I kept acting and busy, where he shoots in his home or wherever he can find, again, like us doing all these cheap comedy sketches or funny things and that.
Yeah.
And that he's done 11 seasons of it since
wow.
high school, so he's been very busy.
Yeah.
And he shoots the occasional drama and things like that. So we're both filmmaking enthusiasts trying to say something in the world and working together. And I think there's it says, when 2 or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them, and he's been loving us and supporting us, and we're just doing our best together to honor him and do things that are fun and keep learning. And I just marvel at the amount of he knows how to edit a film faster than I can. I take about a month or 2 months to do a thing together. He could do it probably in half the time because he's just so busy and constantly going around. It's so inspiring sometimes.
That's awesome.
Has a yellow shirt. Here where we are in the days of.
Oh, sorry, oh yeah, well, that's still the day we're shooting the horses.
Okay, yeah, it does look like the country. There's so much beautiful country around here.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And this is a gorgeous horse.
Yeah, that's Troy with the horse, and he hadn't really been around horses that much, so that was a day of him getting to know it. He was actually there just doubling for one of the key actors who wasn't able to be there. Chance had a wedding to go to that day,
Okay.
and I thought, well, is it your own wedding? No, he's being the best man. I said, okay, well, if you're the best
Fair
man,
enough.
you gotta be excused.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, that's a beautiful horse.
It's important to stay busy. And here's for your season 2.
Yeah, that's season 2. So we have Lindsay up top, Vicky there, she had a lot more time to give us for season 2, so that was great. She and Hayden have a really good scene in season 2 together, and they hadn't seen each other since the movie, so that was really good.
Do you guys do red carpet events when you have your movie releases?
We kind of did that for the first movie. We kind of just did a small, quieter release for the first film because we weren't sure about, because we weren't able to make a deal with the Princess at the time to release the episodes, so we just kind of did that around the family and the cast who wanted to help raise word to support it. And then COVID kind of got in the middle of any other plans we had at the time.
We just got to make it through the winter now. Hopefully by spring everything will go back to some kind of better. All right, here's Troy with your...
Troy with that clapper was a gift from Josh when we did that, so we could keep track of what scene we were shooting and taking that. And that thing took a real beating by the end of the production.
I bet.
Yeah. And we were shooting at the offices of my landlord, who was gracious enough to let us use their office space on a Saturday for free for the movie and for the series.
Nice.
So that kind of became our 60-70% of the location or something for most of what we did.
Yeah.
Oh, and the guy sitting at the desk there, that's Mark, who plays Detective Derek. He was another surprise for the series because I didn't actually initially plan that he was going to come back, but then there was like an opening for him because somebody else didn't show up that day. So we ended up writing him in, and he came in at a day's notice to play the
So you have to be able to like basically change up your story or like refigure things out because
sometimes, yeah.
yeah, I guess that helps you to stay very like it's good to be able to adapt yourself,
Yeah,
right?
He was very supportive and was glad to play the fatherly figure and that and come in.
Nice. And there, is that at the office location?
No, that's around the corner where there's a community livings building near my apartment that sort of doubles as like an education center for special needs people. And out in the hallways and some of the rooms there kind of look like the rooms you'd find in a hospital. So any of the hospital scenes we kind of shot there. And there's Megan and Lindsay again, and just very big supports there. I couldn't have shot like half of what we did without Lindsay in season 2, and she's just such a lovely personality to have on set.
Good stuff.
Oh yeah, there's that's actually the same room there's Megan and Vicky on the left, and the far left there, that's Kitty Albos, who plays key part in season two. She and I had done a couple fantasy shows together early before I founded Starcross, but we kind of dropped out of touch for a few years, and we ended up running into each other again just by chance and getting back together and becoming friends again. And she came in and then filled in the gaps for some people who didn't show up initially as well. So her part actually increased in season 2 than we thought it would.
What's going on here?
Oh, the couple, that's Sean Vincent. I ended up meeting with him at the mall one day, and he's a young enthusiast, filmmaking enthusiast as well, who wanted to get some experience and wanted to see what the process was like. So he came in for a couple of days. He plays without giving too much away, he plays the younger version of Ben Heston in some key flashback stuff that unfolds about some secrets he held in the past and that. And there, Alexandra Porter there, she plays Grace, I believe, in the show. Oh no, she plays Rachel, the love interest in the past of the flashback.
Okay.
And those two had some really good chemistry, and we shot their key scenes in just a couple of days. And you'll probably want some tissues when you see what they came up with.
I guess that's interesting when you're like, yeah, chemistry is something that you usually like you think about when you're like the Hollywood movies. You're like, oh yeah, they have chemistry, or when you can kind of tell if they don't have chemistry. So I guess you find that in general when you match people up for different things. That's cool.
Yeah. And Alexandra's going to be in the next project that we're working on. Her part was small in the Faith Check show, but we have a really juicy part for her coming up in another project, which I can talk about a little bit later.
And who are then this pick?
Oh, that's yeah, absolutely, another big support. That's Barry Martin and his wife. He's one of the guys who runs the egg farm at my job, and he's been a big support, and he's always believed in me and his support. And we went to the Harvey's Swiss Chalet for lunch. I think that was a Sunday, and we just happened to run into them, so they joined us for about 20 minutes, got to meet the cast, and we talked a little bit about the show and what we're doing. And he's always been amazed at my interests and my passion and stuff, and he's been a big support.
You do work very hard. Like you obviously have a vision in what you're doing, and especially during these times, because like, you know, like I feel like in a way, COVID has kind of made people do one thing or another. Like either they're kind of like they persevered, or maybe they had their period of time where they were like, I don't know what's going on. Like everybody were kind of in shock. But some people have sort of stopped in their tracks, and other people have persevered and kind of keep doing what they were already doing because they were on the right path for themselves. So it seems like you're doing what you are on the path you're on the right path for yourself.
Thank you.
3 lovely ladies.
Oh yeah, there's Kitty and Amanda, and the girl on the far right, that's Jessica Rose, who plays the girl on the far right, that's Jessica Rose, who plays Grace. She's the one who plays Grace. She's Troy's love interest in episode 1 and 3 of season 2. We actually had somebody else in the role initially, but she didn't turn out to be right for the part, so Hayden recommended a friend of his girlfriend for the part. We had her read with Troy, and they really play off of each other very well. We shot that on, that was the day of the principal photography on the wedding scene for season 2, and that was a big intense day because we had to shoot some hospital scene stuff, and then we went up to shoot in the gazebo in Elmira for the wedding.
I was gonna say, that looks like Elmira to me.
Yep, that was Elmira, and that was a very special day. And then we ended up having to do some pickups in the afternoon of some scenes in season 1 because we only had Amanda for 1 day for season 2, and we needed to reshoot her scenes with Lindsay, which
I can't imagine all the coordinating that you'll have to do, various different people being able on different,
I succeeded in some spots and failed in others, and we tried to succeed where we could.
yeah. As long as you keep going, I think you succeed, right? Because it's like you fall off the horse, you gotta get back up again.
And, oh yeah, the couple sitting there by the chairs, those are my parents, Paul and Ginny. They came out to be extras that day and support me. And my dad ended up, his truck brought all the chairs you see there, so he was definitely needed that day. And he's let us shoot at his farm in the past, and he's always tried to support me where he can and those things.
I bet.
Oh, there's Lindsay and Amanda. Yeah, that was the evening of the wedding day where we were doing some pickups for episode 2 in the evening. That's the common space in my building.
So did you film this recently, or was this filmed like a long time ago?
The scenes with Lindsay, that was for season 1. That was shot back. Well, actually, we shot those scenes in 2019, so like last May and that, but then it was being combined with footage that we had shot the year before for the same episode.
Okay, I remember you talking about that, because the last time we saw you were still waiting to shoot the other part of it. Like,
yeah, it was all about getting those 2 girls in the same room together.
Oh, wow.
Some of those scenes were pretty intense. We couldn't just fake it by having one person there and then the other person.
They
out of
need to be
frame.
like
Had to be
interacting.
together.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Oh, and there's Jessica as Grace with Hayden. She won't give anything away. She made a deal with the devil in the past, and he's coming to maybe collect or warn her about it as she's starting to become a bigger person of faith. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him anymore, and he reminds her that there was a deal made, and she has to potentially honor it in the future.
Interesting. Hayden, and that's Troy.
That's Hayden and Chance. That was one of their last days of shooting. We were doing some pickups in the office hallway, which doubles as another location for us, and that was a day where we had to Hayden was on set both those days, but Chance wasn't going to be available for that day, so we kind of used him over his shoulder to put the 2 scenes together in the same spot.
Oh, okay. Editing, goodness.
Editing, yeah.
Okay. There's another action shot, definitely.
Yep, there's Troy with the rifle, and there's Ben with the camera. We shot these next photos lead into the action scene in episode 2 that we tried to stage. I'm pretty proud of what we accomplished. It was a little bit of another situation of controlled chaos and timing and weather. We weren't able to get everybody on set at any one time, and so one scene which should have taken 1 day to shoot, took 3 smaller days to shoot, and other times with timing and that, because we had to shoot us running, and then we were going to have this flying thing in the sky chasing us, and I had bought a drone that was going to double for that.
Oh, wow.
But then somebody I know, I won't say who, who was trying to get it to work, and it ended up going on a tangent 5 fields away and was never seen again.
Oh, no way.
So that was another thing we had to overcome and adapt.
Drone incidents. I think there's going to be more drone incidents, like, because you see drones a little now and then, even when you're out and about. Like, there's a lot of drones.
Mhm.
But I'm sorry for your drone there.
Yeah.
Looks like you have to purchase a fair bit of, or there's some costumes involved in what you're doing. I guess there's always the roles people get into.
Yeah. Are we on the next picture with the shades?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's Chance Montgomery. That's Hayden's brother, and he and I had done a failed science fiction show, another show that I had written like 8 or 9 years ago, where we tried to do a sci-fi show. And I love the writing and everything, but I hadn't had enough on-set experience of how much you actually have to pour in of yourself and how much you have to give of yourself on a daily basis. I think if I had done half of what I do now back then, we might have actually had a chance to finish the show, and we didn't have everything shot, so we never ended up really finishing it. I'm hoping, God willing, someday maybe if I can get the funds and the people interested, we can maybe retry that show someday. He played an amazing villain in the past, and I'd wanted to use him in Faith Check in some capacity, and then he was the one element who came in one day to do a scene with them. And Hayden and Chance, they've done plays together in the past, but they had never done any on-screen screen acting together before, so that was the first time we got to do them together. And we ended up having to fight with the wind that day because it was very windy in that, and there'll be some wind in that in the final cut in that, but I think you can hear them pretty well. Alrighty. There's Troy and Jessica. That was the scene. She opened her house to us on a day that it was raining, so we got to shoot in her house for a little bit and get a couple of scenes shot. We're there on a date there. She was so warm and energetic, and she brings a great sweetness to Grace that's very disarming sometimes.
Yeah, it looks like you have great people around you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? That's the last of the pictures. Can you believe
I think
that?
there's one more, isn't it?
Oh, it's not there. However, let's bring you to the camera because there you are. And it's actually 10 to 11.
Yep.
So we have 10 more minutes.
Yep.
So what would you like to end off the hour with here?
I just want to say to everybody how much I love you guys. Your support is very needed, and we had a great time making films, and let's keep doing it where we can. Let's do social distancing now while we're in the middle of COVID. We've got to be careful, of course, but that shouldn't stop us from making something that's important to us that we do.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So what's next for you? Are you making more?
So what's next for you? Are you making more of your Faith Checks? Is it going to be a season 3, or you have a movie in mind, or what's happening?
I did have an idea for a drama set in the book of Revelation, when the time where Jesus comes back to rectify the sin of the world and everything. And we have a script written, but we don't have any plans currently to bring that about because it'd be a big special effects thing in that. We're trying to learn about that first before we go forward on that. We have another mini-series in the works right now called Project Eden, which is a similar vein where it's the end of the world, and there's just supposedly just 2 people left, 1 man and 1 woman, from opposing military forces, and they're having to work together to survive.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, because we live in times like that. You know, every day when you wake up, like, so much. It's outside of the scope of the topic for the show. So, having said that, I want to thank you, Eric, for coming to Blue Sky Horse Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck in all of your future endeavors. We're finishing up here with Eric in the studio. Thanks for driving out on this cold, blistery day.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Jennifer. All my best to your audiences. Everybody stay strong. God loves you. We all just have to do our best and stay together and fight this sickness that's coming around. And don't be afraid. My thing is keep your hands clean, wear the mask, keep social distancing, but don't be afraid to go out and live and see the beauty of this world and the joys and everything.
That's right. The nature is still out there too. It amazes me how many people are out and about if you go on any trails. people are out on the trails, and like if there's ever a beautiful day, people, like it's just like everybody is out there. So with having said that, thanks so much for listening to Blue Sky Horse Radio. Next Tuesday, Steve Critchley from Camp Praxis will be on. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.